The most secret, feared, revered, observed object by the ancients, was called by the adepts and high-level initiates of the mysteries, the Black Sun. Known as the sun behind the sun, the knowledge of this celestial object was high-level secret science to the elite, and low-level mythos and fairy tales for the serfs and common people, contained in books of theos and mythos. Only those initiated into the secret science understood and knew the symbols and stories in their books, and said knowledge was guarded carefully. The ancients believed there were two suns, a white sun, our solar sun, and a black invisible sun, at least to the serfs and those kept in ignorance. This black sun was noticed by the ancient adepts to move in such a way with our solar sun as to act as a ghost, moving in the exact same course and path as our solar sun. They also noticed at certain periods in a cycle, this star would be hidden behind our sun, and it was in this conjunction they believed either life and generation would miraculously appear, or death and destruction as divine providence. To the ancient primal Egyptians, this black sun was believed to be a doorway or gateway to heaven and the gods. This star rises before our solar sun every year helically, beginning on July 4th. For 70 days prior, this star is hidden behind our sun, and the ancient Egyptians would not bury their dead believing the gateway to heaven and the gods closed. The helical rising of this black sun brought on what was called the dog days of summer, the hottest time of the year. To the Egyptians, it marked the time of the inundation of the Nile, causing the parched desert to bloom, bringing forth life. But depending upon the cycle of this black sun, it would also bring on drought, plague, pestilence, and death to the inhabitants of Upper and Lower Egypt. The ancient Egyptians believed this unique conjunction between these two suns acted as a portal and doorway of divinity. Understanding the motion and cycle of this black sun with our solar sun also bestowed a unique ability and advantage over one's enemies that could be used against them strategically in combat. This most sacred and secret star in ancient mythos is called the Universal Father, the Great Architect, the Divine Sun, Heaven, and the gateway to the gods. The ancient historian Plutarch called it, Prutes, the leader. To the Egyptians, it was named Sokdet, and Anu. To the Greeks, Sirius. To the Persians, Tyre. To the Semitic Canaanites, Hazel. To the Hebrews it was called, Sihor. To the ancient Sumerians, Orn. In Vedic titles, it is called Kionastron, and Mragavyada. To the Romans, it was called Sirius. To the ancient Celts, it was Ser. As gods, the black sun was called Isis and Anubis to the ancient Egyptians. Sothis, to the Greeks. Halel, to the Hebrews. Lucifer, to the Latins. In Syro-Arabic, it was called Matsarath. In Arabic, it is called Al-Shira. To the Babylonians, Ishtar. The Phoenicians, Astarte. Other titles are the blazing star, Scorcher, the morning star, the bright, the evening star, the mighty one, the holy one, the torch of Loki, the star of Shiva, the arrow, the star of the east, the ruddy one, the dog star, the third eye, Pineal, Mother Mary, Diana, guardian of the gate, wonderful, he who holds the 7 stars, the conspicuous one, the queen of heaven, the mother goddess. The star Sirius was the prime focus of architecture in Egypt. Most all-important and sacred structures at Giza, at Luxor, at Karnak, all along the entire Nile, were built in azimuthal alignment with the dog star. Entrances, shafts, the geometry general, is aligned in such a way as to allow the light of the dog star Sirius to enter these structures for initiations and sacred rituals. In Turkey, the ancient temple of Göbekli Tepe is also aligned with the star Sirius, and bears pictographs throughout its wall structures, depicting this dark star, of ancient awe and wonder. The sacred knowledge, and the core secret behind the dark star, was precession. The ancient Egyptians chronicled a close encounter with the black dog star, 14,000 years ago, that became embedded within the myth-making fabric of most all ancient civilizations. In the Old Testament of the Bible, it's known and called the Gene of Isis. The ancient seers and astronomer priests understood by pure astronomical science that our solar sun was bound and connected to the star Sirius, that the two celestial objects were attached in a binary orbit around each other, and that at times within this cycle, cataclysmic events have occurred in the past, involving the convergence of these celestial bodies, and will happen again in the future. They also believed that the dog star had a certain mystical influence upon planet Earth, that was interpreted as supernatural when it was in conjunction with our sun during what was known as the Sothic cycle. A cycle of 1461, 365-day years. This is the sole reason why the ancient Egyptians built the Great Pyramid at Giza. The Great Pyramid is a giant observatory, of which its principal purpose is to track the star Sirius. Throughout history, the secret knowledge involving the black dog star was kept by the hierophants of the mystery religions, encoded by etymology and allegory. In today's largest secret society, the Freemasons, it is the most highly venerated object within their lodges amongst the higher degrees, and their architecture they have built in cities globally reflects the esoteric symbolism identifying this dark star and black sun. During World War II and the Nazi uprising, the secret attaché of Adolf Hitler's Third Reich were called the SS. To the recruits, it was called the Schutzstaffel, or Special Staff, Security Force. To the initiates of the Thule Society, it was called the Schwarze Zone, or Black Sun. In a secret cable that was read by a Swiss ambassador to Tokyo, the code for the secret atom bomb program of the Nazis was called Sirius. One of the most famous German esoterists behind the occult dogma of the Schwarze Zone was Schwaller de Lubitsch. To Lubitsch, the black sun was the cosmic system of atomic structure, whose nucleus was in the great provider called Sothis. He stated the dog star was an extreme gravitational force emanating from the galactic center, and that Sothis, being called the soul of the dog star in antiquity, was also the soul of the German people emblazoned upon the national flag, the swastika. To the high echelon occultists within the Thule Society like Lubitsch, the SS were the initials that stood for Isis, and the first and last letters of the name, Sirius. Within the matrix of theism and mythos amongst all early primal civilizations, is the ground zero and point of origin, the Sirius star. The star plays the most vital and important role in occult wisdom throughout history, whose knowledge is the most tightly kept and secretive, that unlocks the syncretic web of all mysteries of occult and metaphysical sciences. The Black Rite of Memphis practiced by the secret elites of Egypt, revealed this esoteric secret, through initiation, into the black dog sun.